The rain hammered down like fists from a vengeful sky, turning the cracked pavement of Elmwood's back alley into a slick mirror of shattered dreams. I stood there, soaked to the bone, my heart pounding not from fear, but from the fire that had been smoldering inside me for years. "Faggot," the cop spat, his meaty hand shoving me against the cold brick wall, his badge gleaming like a false god under the flickering street lamp. Officer Jake Harlan, local hero to bigots, nightmare to anyone who dared love differently. In that instant, as his breath reeked of cheap whiskey and unchecked rage, I could have ended it all with a single word. But I didn't. Not yet. Because Elmwood, this forgotten corner of upstate New York where maple trees whispered secrets to the wind, had drawn me here for a reason far bigger than one bully's hatred. I was Ryder Kane, 35 years old, and beneath the faded denim of my undercover jacket lurked a truth that could shatter his world. I wasn't just some drifter. I was FBI, special agent, with a badge that outranked his tin star by miles. It started 3 weeks earlier, when the call came through the wire, disembodied voices crackling like autumn leaves underfoot. "Agent Kane, we need you in Elmwood. Human trafficking ring. Small town cover. Go deep. No backup for the first month." I nodded into the phone, the weight of my service pistol already heavy in its hidden holster. Undercover was my specialty. The shadows suited me, especially since coming out at 28 had turned my badge into both shield and target. My superiors knew Al, my partner in D.C., had thrown me a quiet beer to celebrate, but out here, in the heartland's hidden fractures, trust was a luxury I couldn't afford. Elmwood was the kind of place where Friday nights meant bonfires and beer, where the diner on Main Street served pie that tasted like grandma's regret, and where folks still believed in picket fences hiding every sin. I rented a dingy apartment above the hardware store, the kind with peeling wallpaper and a view of the rusted water tower that read Elmwood Pride in faded letters, irony at its finest. My cover, Ryan Keller, itinerant mechanic, fresh from a bad breakup in Philly, nursing wounds that weren't entirely fake. The gay part, that was real enough to bleed. My first night, I wandered into the Rusty Anchor, the local dive where neon signs buzzed like angry hornets. The air was thick with cigarette smoke and the low hum of country ballads about lost loves and dirt roads. I slid onto a stool at the bar, ordering a whiskey neat, when he caught my eye across the room. Alex Rivera, 29, with sun-kissed skin from summers hauling lumber at the mill, curly black hair that fell just so over hazel eyes that held the warmth of a forgotten sunrise. He was laughing with a group of mill workers, his flannel shirt rolled up to reveal forearms corded with quiet strength. But there was a shadow in his smilia hesitation, like he'd learned to guard his light. Our eyes locked when he turned to grab his beer, and something electric passed between us. Unspoken but undeniable. He excused himself, sauntering over with the easy grace of someone who'd grown up dancing in the rain. "Mind if I join? You look like you could use a story that doesn't end in heartbreak." His voice was low, laced with a faint southern drawl from his Texas roots. And damn if it didn't tug at the loneliness I'd buried under layers of steel. We talked for hours about the mill's endless shifts, the way Elmwood's river ran silver under the moon, how he'd moved here 5 years ago to escape a family that couldn't handle his truth. They said it was a phase, he murmured, fingers tracing the condensation on his glass. But phases don't break your heart like that. I shared fragments of Ryan's life, careful not to slip, but his vulnerability cracked something in me. By closing time, as the bartender flipped the sign to closed, Alex's hand brushed mine under the tablia. Question. A promise. That brush ignited what I denied for too long, the ache for connection in a world that still wielded love like a weapon. We stumbled out into the crisp October air, the leaves crunching under our boots like whispered confessions. Under the glow of a single street lamp, He pulled me close, his lips tentative at first, then fierce, tasting of hops and hope. It was messy, urgent, the kind of kiss that rewrites your stars. Stay? He breathed against my neck. And for the first time in years, I wanted to. But duty's shadow loomed. The trafficking ring preyed on the vulnerable runaways. Immigrants. Anyone the town overlooked. Whispers led me to Harlan's beat, the cop who turned a blind eye for a cut. His cruiser a ghost in the night. I tailed him twice. Notebook filling with plates and timestamps. My heart twisting at the thought of Alex's safety in this viper's nest. Alex worked the day shift at the mill. But nights, he'd slip over to my place. Our bodies entwining in the dim light of a single bulb. Sweat-slicked sheets bearing witness to whispers of forever. Your trouble, Ryan, he'd say, tracing the scar on my shoulder from a raid-gone wronga mark I passed off as a bar fight. Trouble. If only he knew. Our romance bloomed in stolen moments. Picnics by the river where he'd feed me wild berries. His laughter chasing away the ghosts of my past. Slow dances in my kitchen to scratchy vinyl records. His head on my chest, as if my heartbeat was the only rhythm that mattered. He made me believe in redemption. In a love that didn't demand I hide. Yet Harlan's presence festered like an untreated wound. I'd seen him at the Anchor, holding court with his cronies. Jokes laced with venom about those types ruining the town. One night, as Alex and I shared a quiet beer on my fire escape, Harlan's cruiser rolled by slow, headlights sweeping us like a predator's gaze. Alex tensed, his hand tightening in mine. He hates anything that doesn't fit his mold. He muttered. Lost a buddy to conversion therapy, back home blames the world for it. I pulled him closer, vowing silently to dismantle the rot. My reports to D.C. grew urgent. Coordinates on a warehouse by the tracks. Names of low-level mules. But going deep meant isolaciono calls. No traces. Alex sensed my distance, his eyes searching mine over morning coffee. You're carrying something heavy, aren't you? Let me help. God. How I wanted to. Instead, I kissed him, pouring my unspoken fears into the press of our mouths. Bodies moving in a rhythm that drowned out the storm brewing. The hook sank deeper 2 weeks in, when a tip led me to the tracks at midnight. Fog clung to the rails like a shroud, the air heavy with diesel and despair. I crouched in the shadows, camera ready, when voices echoed Harlan's gravelly bark, a muffled plea from a shadowed figure. Click. Evidence secured. I slipped away, pulse thundering. But as I rounded the corner, headlights pinned me like a butterfly to corkboard. Harlan's cruiser blocked the alley, his silhouette emerging like Judgment Day. What the hell you doing out here? Queer. He lumbered forward, nightstick tapping his palm, eyes narrowed in the red glow of his taillights. Rain began to fall, fat drops splattering the gravel. I straightened, feigning the slur's indifference. But inside, rage coiled tight. Just walking. Officer. Clear night for it. He laughed, a sound like breaking glass. Walking. In my town. I know your type strutting around. Corrupt and good folk. His shove came fast, slamming me against the wall, the brick biting into my back. Pain flared, but I held his gaze, the fire in my veins refusing to dim. You think you can just waltz in here, flaunting your preferences? Elmwood don't tolerate that shit. The word preferences dripped with contempt. Each syllable a knife twist for every kid like Alex who'd been beaten down for daring to love. My hand itched for my jacket's inner pocket, where my real badge waited, gold and unyielding. But revelation too soon could torch the op. So I endured. Words my only weapon. Everyone's got a right to their life. Harlan. Even you. He leaned in, breath hot and foul. Rights. Boy, I am the law here. His fist connected with my gut, air exploding from my lungs in a whoosh. I doubled over, tasting blood, the world blurring. Flashes of Alex's smile. My mother's quiet pride when I came out. The oath I'd sworn to protect the broken, they surged like lifelines. As he raised his stick for another blow, I rasped, "You sure about that?" He paused, confusion flickering. Rain poured harder, washing the alley in sheets of silver. I straightened slowly, hands slipping inside my jacket, not for the gun, but the shield. The leather parted, revealing the eagle-embossed gold, Federal Bureau of Investigation. Special Agent Ryder Kane. His eyes widened, color draining from his face like ink in water. "What the? You're done, Harlan," I said, voice steady as the river that carved canyons. Assaulting a federal officer. Added to the list, trafficking, corruption. Your badge. It's confetti now. He staggered back, stick clattering to the ground, the rain mocking his fall. For a moment, silence reigned, broken only by thunder's distant rumble. Then, sirens wailed back up. I'd signaled with a hidden panic button, closing the net. Agents swarmed from the fog, cuffing him as he sputtered denials, his empire crumbling in the mud. But victory tasted bittersweet. As they hauled him away, his eyes met mine, not with hate, but a fractured plea. I didn't know. Words every bully whispers when the mask slips. I turned away, the weight of my jacket heavier than ever, heading back to the life I'd almost lost. Dawn broke over Elmwood like a hesitant apology, painting the sky in strokes of pink and gold. I found Alex at the mill, his shift ending as the whistle blew, sawdust clinging to his jeans like forgotten dreams. He spotted me from across the yard, brow furrowing at the bruise blooming on my jaw. "Ryan, what happened? You look like hell." I pulled him into the shadow of the loading dock, the scent of pine and sweat wrapping around us. "It's time," I whispered, badge now pinned openly on my chest, gleaming in the morning light. His eyes traced it, then me, realization dawning slow and sweet. "Ryder," he breathed, fingers brushing the metal as if it were fragile. "The shadows. They were you." We stood there, the world narrowing to the space between us, his hand finding mine with a certainty that mended fractures I didn't know I carried. I was scared, I admitted, voice cracking like thin ice, of losing this off, losing you before it even started. Alex's laugh was soft, a balm against the ache. "You think a badge scares me off? Hell, it makes you sexier." He pulled me close, our foreheads touching, breaths mingling in the crisp air. "But promise me no more secrets. We build this together, shadows and all." The mill hummed around us, workers glancing our way with whispers that would turn to reluctant nods in time. Elmwood wasn't healed. Not yet. The ring's tendrils ran deep, trials looming like winter storms. But in Alex's arms, I saw the future, not perfection, but progress, carved from courage and the quiet revolution of two men choosing love over fear. Weeks blurred into a rhythm of depositions, and dawn runs along the river. Alex's hand in mine a constant anchor. Harlan's trial exposed the rot, payoffs, silenced victims, a town complicit in its blindness. He stood in the courtroom, shackled and shrunken, his testimony a halting confession. I thought I was protecting something, he muttered to the judge, eyes downcast. Turned out, I was the monster. The gavel fell 10 years. Minimum. As they let him out, our gazes locked one last time. No words passed, but in that shared silence, I saw the spark of reckoning. Redemption wasn't mine to give. It was his to chase in the cold cells of regret. For the victims, justice was a start, but healing, that bloomed in community halls where Alex and I spoke. Our story a bridge over chasms of hate. One evening, as snow dusted the pines, we stood on the bridge over the river, the water murmuring secrets below. Alex dropped to one knee, a simple silver band glinting in his palm engraved with out of shadows. Ryder Kane, you've got the power to change worlds. Marry me, and let's change ours. Tears stung my eyes, not from pain, but from the overwhelming grace of it all. Yes, I said, pulling him up into a kiss that tasted of forever, the river applauding with gentle waves. In Elmwood's quiet heart, we'd found not just survival, but a love that outranked every badge. Every Bullied testament that humanity's true strength lies in vulnerability, in choosing each other against the storm. And as the stars wheeled overhead, I knew this was the real undercover work. Living openly, loving fiercely, turning pain into purpose. For every rider out there, hiding in the rain, your badge is your heart. Wear it proud. The wedding was small, held in the old chapel on the edge of town, where stained glass filtered sunlight into rainbows that danced across the pews like blessings from forgotten saints. Alex's family hadn't come, old wounds too raw, but his sister Elena flew in from Austin, her hug fierce enough to bridge the miles. You deserve this joy, Mijo, she whispered, adjusting my tie with hands that trembled just a little. My own mother, silver-haired and steadfast from Ohio, squeezed my arm as we waited in the vestibule. Your father would be proud, she said, her voice thick. He'd passed before I could tell him, but in her eyes, I saw his absolution. The doors creaked open, and there was Alex at the altar, radiant in a crisp white shirt that hugged his frame. His curls tamed, but his smile wild and free. Vows exchanged in voices steady with emotion, promises to stand in the fire, to whisper truths in the dark, to build a home where love wasn't a guest, but the foundation. Rings slid on with clicks that echoed like fate locking into place. As we kissed, the small crowd, mill workers who'd warmed to us, a few agents from D.C., the diner's waitress with her ever-present pie erupted in cheers that chased away the ghosts. Afterward, at the reception in the community hall, laughter flowed like the whiskey we'd smuggled in. Elena cornered me by the punch bowl, her eyes sparkling with mischief. He talks about you nonstop. You know. Says you're the anchor he never knew he needed. I grinned, warmth spreading through me like sunlight after rain. Alex found us then, pulling me onto the makeshift dance floor, our bodies swaying to a slow ballad about highways and homecomings. This is it, Ryder, he murmured into my hair. Our story, out loud. But stories don't end with happily ever after, they evolve. Scarred and beautiful. The trafficking bust rippled outward. Headlines in the Elmwood Gazette screaming, local cops fall, exposes dark underbelly. Victim testimonies poured in. Brave souls stepping from shadows I'd only glimpsed. I coordinated with the DA, poring over files in our new apartment, a cozy two-bedroom with a porch overlooking the river, where Alex hung hammocks and I planted herbs that somehow thrived despite my black thumb. Nights were for us, dinners of Elena's tamale recipe, his head in my lap as I read case updates aloud, our fingers laced like roots seeking soil. Intimacy deepened, not just in passion's fire, but in the quiet vulnerabilities, confessing the raid that scarred my shoulder. The partner who left when my job swallowed our days. Him sharing the night his father found his hidden letters. The door slamming like a verdict. I thought love meant hiding, he said once, tracing my badge where it lay on the nightstand. You showed me its armor. Yet scars itch. A month post-wedding, a letter arrived Harlan's, forwarded from prison. Scrawled in blocky print, Kane. I replay that night. My hate wasn't just for you, it was for the boy I buried. Scared and alone. Your badge saved more than the op. It cracked my mirror. Don't waste your light on men like I was. I read it aloud to Alex by the fire, the paper crumpling in my fist. Was it real? Or a con's ploy? Alex's hand on my knee steadied me. Let it be what it is. You've already won. Spring thawed the town, bringing festivals and fragile alliances. We volunteered at the youth center, sharing stories with kids navigating their own truths. Wide-eyed teens with questions that mirrored our younger selves. One boy, Jamie, 15 and fierce, cornered me after a session. How'd you know it was worth the fight? His voice cracked, fists balled against invisible foes. I knelt to his level, seeing the echo of my own reflection. Because the alternative is a life half-lived. Love's the fight that heals. Alex watched from the doorway, pride in his gaze like a crown. That night, as we walked home under blooming dogwoods, petals drifting like confetti, he stopped me mid-stride. You're changing this place, Ryder. Not with cuffs or collars, but with that heart of yours. We made love under the stars on our porch, slow and reverent. Bodies a map of shared battles won. Summer heat wave brought trials and convictions stacking like dominoes. The ring dismantled thread by thread. I got the call from D.C. Promotion to field supervisor. Option to relocate. Alex and I debated over iced tea on the swing. His foot hooked around mine. Stay? He urged. Elmwood needs its heroes. And I need my husband. The word still sent shivers. Husband. I chose us. The town our canvas. But heroes falter. A late-night raid echo haunted me flashbacks in the shower, steam blurring the tiles as phantom shouts rang. Alex held me through it, his voice a lighthouse. You're here. With me. Therapy followed. Sessions in a cozy office where I unpacked the badge's double-edged protector and prisoner. It's okay to be both man and agent, the counselor said. Alex nodded beside me, his presence permission to breathe. Fall returned, leaves a fiery farewell. We hosted a barbecue for the center kids, grills smoking with burgers and stories. Jamie grilled me on wedding details, his grin brighter than the sun. You too. Goals. As dusk fell, Alex and I slipped away to the riverbank, skipping stones into the current. 1 year, he said, arm around my waist. Feels like a lifetime. It is, I replied, turning to kiss him. The waters sung our soundtrack. In Elmwood's embrace, we'd forged not just survival, but sanctuary, a love that outshone badges, a humanity reclaimed from the brink. Winter gripped Elmwood like a jealous lover, snow blanketing the streets in hush, turning the world into a canvas of quiet possibility. Our first holiday season as husbands dawned with Alex's excited chaos, stringing lights on the porch till midnight, baking cookies that charred just enough to taste like adventure. Traditions start somewhere, he declared, flour dusting his nose as he smeared a kiss on my cheek. I laughed, the sound foreign but welcome, pulling him into a flour-dusted waltz around the kitchen. Mom visited for Christmas. Her gifts practical wool socks, a framed photo of Dad from his army days. Over eggnog by the fire. She opened up, voice soft as falling flakes. I worried after you told me. Ryder. Not about you, but the world. Seeing you now. With him. It's the peace I prayed for. Alex blushed, squeezing her hand. And in that triangle of warmth, I felt the fractures of my youth mend. Work pulled me thinner, coordinating with state troopers on spillover cases. Late nights at the makeshift office in the old library. Alex adapted, leaving thermoses of coffee and notes. Come home to your favorite distraction. His mill shifts eased with a promotion to foreman. His leadership a natural bloom, earning respect from men who'd once eyed him wary. One blizzard night. Power out. We huddled under quilts, candles flickering like stars broad indoors. Remember our first kiss? Alex murmured, his breath warm against my neck. Rain like this, but no snow. I traced his jaw, memorizing the map of him. Best storm I ever weathered. Our lovemaking was tender, unhurried. Bodies sinking in the candle's glow, a reaffirmation that in chaos, we were constants. Spring unearthed secrets, a follow-up on Harlan's cell block letters. Now a trickle to the warden about counseling programs. He's pushing for queer ally training. The report read. Skeptical. I shared it with Alex over breakfast. People change when the mirror cracks hard enough, he said, buttering toast with philosophical calm. Maybe he's finding his light. We tested the waters, speaking at the town hall on Pride Initiative small steps. Rainbow flags fluttering tentative from lampposts. Backlash murmured, graffiti on the center. Whispers at the diner. But support swelled to the waitress baking Pride cookies. A mill vet offering his truck for parades. Jamie, now out and proud, organized the first youth float. His energy infectious. Thanks to you guys, he said, paint smudged on his cheek, showing it's possible. Summer sizzled with our anniversary tripa cabin in the Adirondacks. Lake views and no cell service. We hiked trails dappled in sunlight. Skinny dipped at dusk. Laughter echoing off pines. Evenings by the fire. Alex strummed his old guitar. Songs of wanderers finding home. This is the life I dreamed of, he confessed one night. Head on my chest. You. Me. No more running. Back in Elmwood. Routine deepened roots. Joint runs at dawn. His pace matching mine. Cooking classes where my attempts at paella earned his teasing applause. Intimacy evolved, exploring fantasies whispered in the dark. Trust a bridge over old fears. You're my safe harbor, I told him after. Limbs tangled. Hearts synced. Fall brought harvest festivals. Hayrides under harvest moons. At one, Elena arrived with her partner. A whirlwind of stories and hugs. Y'all are disgustingly cute, she teased, linking arms with Mom for a barn dance. Alex and I twirled under strings of lights. The world a blur of joy. But shadows lingered. A new case surfaced, domestic rings targeting queer families. Echoes of old pains. Sleepless nights followed. My mind mapping threats. Alex noticed, drawing me out with patient questions. Talk to me. Love. We're a team. In his arms. Strategies formed, not just takedowns, but community shields, workshops, hotlines, alliances with local PDs, reformed ranks. Thanksgiving gathered us, Mom, Elena's crew, mill friends around a table groaning with turkey and tails. Toasts rang to resilience, to love's quiet revolutions. As plates cleared, Alex caught my eye across the chaos. His wink a promise of later whispers. Winter circled back, but softer now, laced with anticipation. Over mulled wine, Alex revealed news. I'm thinking kids. Adoption. Maybe. What do you say? My heart swelled. Visions of tiny hands and ours. Teaching the world kindness. Yes. I breathed, kissing him deep. Let's build that family. In Elmwood's snow-kissed embrace, our love wasn't just a story, it was legacy. Badges of the heart passed forward. The adoption process unfolded like a slow-blooming flower. Petals of paperwork and home studies unfurling in the crisp air of early spring. Alex and I pored over profiles in our living room. The river's murmur a soothing underscore to dreams taking shape. This one, he said one evening, holding a photo of a 4-year-old boy with wide eyes and a gap-toothed grin. He looks like he needs adventurers. I nodded. Throat tight, Lucas. Uprooted by loss. Seeking solid ground. Interviews followed. Caseworkers peering into our lives with clinical eyes that softened at Alex's easy charm. My steady recount of building safe spaces. You've created more than a home, the social worker noted, glancing at the walls lined with photos, our wedding, Jamie's parade, Harlan's faded letter framed as a reminder of Grace's possibility. Clearance came in May, a phone call that dropped us to our knees in laughter and tears. Lucas arrived on a sun-drenched afternoon, clutching a battered bear, his small frame vibrating with wary hope. Alex knelt first, offering a toy truck. "Hey, buddy. I'm Alex, wanna race?" The boy's giggle cracked the air like dawn. And just like that, our trio formed. Nights blurred into routines, bedtime stories of brave knights who loved knights. Bathtime splash wars that soaked the floors. Dawn cuddles where his tiny hand found mine in the dark. Fatherhood reshaped us. I traded some field work for desk oversight. Home by 6 to catch Lucas's triumph's first bike ride down the block, his squeals echoing our pride. Alex adjusted shifts, his foreman role flexing around preschool runs. "He's got your eyes," Alex teased one night, watching Lucas color rainbows with fierce concentration. And my stubborn streak. Challenges wove in, nightmares from his past, pulling me from sleep to rock him whispering, "You're safe, little man." Community rallied Jamie babysitting with comic book flair. Elena sending care packages of Tex-Mex spices. Mom visited often, her grandma title a delight, baking pies that Lucas devoured with sticky-fingered glee. Summer brought our first family camping trip, tent pitched by the lake where Alex and I honeymooned. Lucas chased fireflies, his laughter a symphony, while we stole kisses by the flames. "This is everything," I murmured, head on Alex's shoulder. "You gave me this." Fall deepened bonds. Lucas starting kindergarten with a backpack bigger than him. Drop-off tears from all three of us. But pride swelled at pickup, his tails tumbling out like treasures. We hosted Halloween Lucas as a pint-sized FBI agent. Badge pinned proud. Neighbors chuckling at the irony. Winter holidays sparkled brighter with his wonder decorating the tree, his small hands placing the star. Carols sung off-key but full-hearted. Christmas morning. Amid wrapping paper chaos, he hugged us fierce. Best dads ever. Simple words. Profound anchor. Work evolved to me team expanding to include queer liaisons. Training modules on bias that drew from Harlan's fall. A new recruit. Fresh-faced and open. Sought my advice. How do you balance the badge with you? I shared our story. Lucas's photo on my desk a testament. Love teaches you. Let it. One snowy evening, as Lucas slept, Alex and I sat by the window, flakes drifting like possibilities. Think Harlan's out there. Changing. He pondered. Sipping cocoa. Maybe. I replied. But we're the proof it works. Spring circled. Lucas's birthday a whirlwind of cake and cousins. Blowing out candles. He wished aloud. More adventures with my dads. We planned a road trip. Maps spread like promises. In this life we'd carved. Love wasn't abstract, it was bedtime tucks. Scraped knees kissed better. Quiet nights where Alex's hand in mine reminded me we'd outranked the storms. Years layered like sedimentary rock, each one adding depth to our Elmwood life, turning fragile beginnings into unshakable bedrock. Lucas turned 8 in a blur of soccer games and science fairs. His curiosity a spark that lit our days. Dad writer. Why do rivers bend? He'd ask on walks. Alex winking as I spun tales of erosion and endurance metaphors for us. Unspoken but felt. Alex's mill career crested with a manager spot. His innovation sustainable logging. Worker wellness earning town acclaim. Evenings. He'd come home dusted in sawdust. Scooping Lucas for airplane spins while I stirred chili. The kitchen alive with their joy. Our intimacy, once urgent flame, matured to embers that warmed deep lazy Sundays tangled in sheets. Exploring each other's landscapes with the reverence of time-earned trust. I mentored at the youth center. Sessions swelling with teens like a young Jamie now in college. Interning with us on summer breaks. You guys are legends, he'd say. Organizing pride events that drew crowds from neighboring towns. Backlash faded to fringes, replaced by flags waving bold. Businesses sponsoring floats. Elmwood's pulse quickened. A heartbeat of inclusion. Challenges tested us. Lucas's questions about his birth mom. Gentle talks by the river where we shared truths wrapped in love. She wanted you safe, Alex explained, his voice steady. Tears fell, but hugs healed. Our family a mosaic stronger for its pieces. A scare came mid-academy annual checkup, flagging a shadow on the long, old raid residue. Biopsy nights. Alex's vigil by my bed. Lucas's drawings taped to the walls, superheroes in capes of light. Benign. Thank God. But its sharpened edges, more family trips. A vow to clock out by 5. We're irreplaceable, Alex insisted. Planning a Vegas getaway, neon lights and shows. Our hands clasped in slots glow. Harlan resurfaced in a parole hearing letter. Clean record and counseling logs attached. Seeking amends. It read. I testified, neutral justice served. Path forward his. Denied. But the gesture lingered. A ripple in our pond of grace. Lucas hit 12. Hormones and heartaches budding. Crushes on classmates. Confusion over labels. We navigated with books and brunches. Affirming, love's a spectrum. Kiddo. Yours. Whatever color. Shines. His first dance. We tied his tie. Alex's eyes misty. Our boys flying. Summer of his 13th, a cross-country drive. Route 66 echoes in diner stops and desert sunsets. Lucas shotgun. Playlist blasting our favorites, Alex's country twang. My rock anthems. This is freedom, he declared at the Grand Canyon. Arms wide. We stood behind him. Arms linked. The vastness mirroring our growth. Fall brought my promotion to regional director. Desk in Syracuse, but home base Elmwood. Speeches at academies on inclusive policing. Stories of badges beyond metal. Alex beamed from front rows. Lucas sketching in margins. Winter holidays evolved, Elena's family swelling with nieces. Chaos of gifts and games. One eve, as snow fell, Lucas asked, how'd you two know? We shared the alley. The badge. The kiss edited for young ears. But core intact. Love finds you in storms, I said. He nodded, hugging tight. Spring renewal, Lucas's bar mitzvah nod to his Jewish foster roots. Us studying Hebrew phrases. Community rabbi welcoming our chosen family. Ceremony poignant. His voice strong, reading Torah on unity. By summer's end. At 15, Lucas volunteered at the center. Mentoring new kids. Paying it forward. He grinned, echoing us. Alex and I watched from afar. Hands entwined. We did good. He whispered. Decades close. A quiet anniversary, river picnic. Same spot as proposals passed. Wine flowed. Stars emerged. To outranking it all. Alex toasted. Our kiss sealed at love. The ultimate authority. Time's river flowed swifter now. Carving canyons of memory in our Elmwood haven. Lucas at 17. Lanky and luminous. Navigated high school with our compass. Authenticity amid algebra and angst. Driver's license day. We handed keys with white-knuckled grins. Alex trailing in the rear view as he practiced. Our boys got wings, I said later. Pride laced with the pang of impending empty nests. Alex's silver threads wove into his curls. Handsome as ever. His mill legacy cemented with eco-initiatives that greened the town. We traveled more European rambles. Hand in hand through Paris rains. Venice canals mirroring our intertwined paths. Homecoming sweeter. Bodies reuniting with the familiarity of old maps. Passion renewed in hotel sheets and porch swings. My career peaked in policy shifts, federal guidelines on queer competency. My name on memos that echoed nationwide. Testimonies from old cases closed circles, victims thriving. Some sending thanks that humbled me. You gave us voices. One wrote. Alex framed it beside Harlan's letter. A diptych of impact. Family expanded sideways. Jamie's wedding. Us walking him down the aisle. His partner a quiet artist who sketched our portraits. Elena's brood visited yearly. Chaos of cousins chasing Lucas in yard games. Mom. Frielier now. Moved closer to a senior community nearby. Her stories are lore tales of Dad's quiet allyship. Letters found post-passing affirming my path. Storms hit. Alex's knee surgery from mill years. Me hobbling him through rehab with bad jokes and massages. Vows include this. He grumbled. But his eyes sparkled. Lucas's first heartbreak, a boy from debate club. Ghosting soft saw us flanking him with ice cream and insights. It hurts because it mattered. I shared. That's the gift. Pride that year swelled epic. Elmwood's parade a river of color. Lucas emceeing with mic in hand. Voice booming calls for equality. We marched arm in arm. Badges metaphorical and real. Cheers a chorus of change. Harlan. Paroled quietly. Attended incognito, word from a contact. No confrontation. Just a nod from afar. His presence a silent amends. Fall foliage framed Lucas's college apps. Acceptances piling like leaves. NYU for journalism. Chasing stories of justice. Decision night. Pizza-fueled debate ended in hugs. Elmwood's always home. Alex promised. Voice thick. Winter wrapped us gentle, holiday lights twinkling as Mom hosted. Her table a feast of forgiveness. Lucas's farewell dinner before dorms his toast. To dads who taught me love's the strongest badge. Tears flowed free. Spring emptied nests partial, Lucas thriving in NYC. Weekend trains bringing him back for laundry and lectures. Alex and I rediscovered duo rhythms, date nights at the Anchor. Now queer-friendly with rainbow coasters. Pottery classes where our lopsided bowls held our laughter. Summer solo trip, hiking Appalachians. Trails echoing our early days. Campfire confessions, fears of aging. Dreams undimmed. Still choose you. Alex vowed. Embers mirroring his eyes. By fall. Lucas interned at a queer mag. Article sharp as his wit. Homecoming dinner. He grilled us on retirement. Time for your adventures. He urged. Winter's hush brought proposal redux. Alex on one knee by our tree. Renewing vows with matching bands etched, forever outranked. Ceremony intimate. Just family and fireflies in jars. As snow fell soft. Our love stood sentinel timeless. Triumphant. A beacon for the riders yet to come. The empty nest echoed at first. Our home a hollow shell of scattered Legos and faded posters. But we filled it with fresh chapters. Painting walls sage and shelves with travelogues. Lucas's calls lit Sunday's tales of city chaos and campus crushes. His voice maturing into confidence we'd nurtured. Miss you guys. He'd say. And we'd beam. Knowing roots held deep. Alex retired first. His mill farewell a roast of legends. Plaque gleaming, for roots that reach far. Days bloomed free, gardening plots bursting with tomatoes he swore were magic. Woodworking benches for the center. I followed suit. Federal pension a graceful exit. Consulting gigs keeping edges sharp without the grind. Mornings. Coffee on the porch. His hand in mine. Watching the river etch its eternal path. Travel became tonic. Safaris in Kenya, where sunsets painted us gold. Tokyo's neon pulse syncing our steps. Home interludes wove wonder hosting exchange students. Their stories global threads in our tapestry. 1. A shy teen from rural Ukraine. Bloomed under our wing. Echoing our early days. Love here feels possible. He confided. We nodded. Hearts full. Health whispers grew, my glasses thickening. Alex's joints protesting damp days. Checkups routine. But a scare with his heart stents. Not strings grounded us. Hospital vigil reversed. Me pacing as he quipped from bed. Badge or not. You're stuck with me. Recovery walks by the river. Slow but sacred. Reaffirmed, time's gift. Not thief. Family orbits tightened. Jamie's first book on queer history. Dedication to Ryder and Alex pioneers. Elena's clan swelled. Thanksgiving's a riot of grandkids tumbling. Mom's 90th. Frail but fierce. Surrounded by Usher legacy in Lucas's grin. Our clasped hands. Lucas graduated Summa. Thesis on undercover ethics drawing my pride tears. His partner. Theo, a poet with ink-stained fingers, joined the fold. Their engagement dinner under string lights. Toasts toasting cycles renewed. Pride evolved. Elmwood's festival a weekend affair. Keynote mine on humanities badge. Harlan approached post-speech. Older. Humbled. Agent Kane Ryder. Words fail. But thank you. Handshake firm. No more needed. Forgiveness. Not mine. But closure's bomb soothed. Fall harvest yielded community orchard projects. Alex leading with dirt under nails. Winter holidays. Now with Theo and we once toddling. Chaos cherished eggnog toasts to lineages unbroken. Spring brought Lucas's wedding by the river. Us officiating in tandem. Vows mirroring ours. Love outranks all. He echoed. And the crowd-diverse tapestry of lives we'd touched cheered as if one heart. Summer idle, cabin retreats with grandkids. Teaching stone skips and story skips. Alex's lullabies. My badge tales sanitized for tiny ears. By Falls Gold. At 60. We pen memoirs joint. Voices intertwining like our lives. Launch in Elmwood Library. Packed house. Lucas moderating. This is your hook. He grinned, nodding to that rainy alley long past. Winter's embrace warmer with hearths and histories. One snowy night. Quilts drawn. Alex whispered. Best plot twist, you? Our kiss. Slow as seasons. Sealed eternities. Legacy lived not in pages. But Pulse Love's badge. Eternally outranking. Decades distilled to essences. Our Elmwood River still flowing. Silver threads in its current mirroring ours. Grandkids for now. With more whispers filled holidays with hoots and handmade ornaments. Their energy a echo of Lucas's youth. Alex and I. Silvered and settled. Moved with the deliberate grace of lives richly lived. Joints creaking like old oaks but spirits unbowed. Consulting faded to whispers. Replaced by mentorships, online chats with agents navigating closets. Workshops for small-town PDs on hearts over hierarchies. Alex's woodcraft turned philanthropic benches dotting pride paths nationwide. Engraved rest here. Love freely. Letters arrived weekly. Thanks from lives redirected. Badges polished brighter. Family constellations shone. Lucas's bylines in majors. Theo's poetry collections lauded. Jamie's tenure. Elena's empire of bakeries. Mom passed gentle at 95. Her service a celebration riverside. Songs she loved. Her ashes scattered where we'd fished as boys. She saw you whole. Alex consoled. His arm my pillar. Health's tide turned firmer. Alex's pacemaker ticking steady. My knees replaced with titanium resolve. Walks shortened to porch perches. But conversations deepened revisiting that alley. Dissecting dreams deferred then doubled. Regrets? He asked one dusk. None. I replied. You were the win. Pride's pinnacle, Elmwood renaming the bridge, Cane Rivera Crossing. Plaque detailing our spark. Dedication, Drew crowds Harlan. Gray and grandkids in tow. Sharing a quiet, well done. Redemption's arc complete. His story now cautionary chapters in our trainings. Winters warmed with woolens and wisdom, grandkid sleepovers. Fort building and fable telling. Lucas beaming as dad to his own. Full circle, he'd say, hugging us. Spring eternals, renewals of vows every decade. This time under blossoms. Family orbiting like stars. Vows whispered, still choosing you. Through every rank. Summer solstice, river picnic redux. Generations sprawled on blankets. Laughter layering air. Lucas's eldest skipped stones expert. Asking, Grandpa Ryder, tell the badge story. I did. Hook strong, rain. Rage. Revelation ending not in triumph, but tenderness. Fall's foliage a final fanfare. Leaves surrendering to earth as we did to ease. One amber afternoon. Alex faltered heart's quiet betrayal. Hospital hum. Family vigil. His hand in mine to the end. Love you most. He breathed. Eyes eternal. Gone at 78. Leaving voids no badge could fill. Grief's river ran deep. But love's current carried. Memorials by the bridge. Stories shared in sobs turning to smiles. Lucas's eulogy. He outranked us all with heart. Years softened edges. My days a tribute, more stories. Slower steps. Grandkids' hands guiding. At 85. Penning epilogues. I reflect, from bullied shadows to beacon. Our love proved humanity's highest rank compassion. Courage. Connection. The river flows on. Whispering, wear your badge proud. Love wins. Always.